I've taught online twice. The first time was really an experiment for me. I was a novice. I'd never prepared materials for online teaching before. I had some assistance through faculty development, and I thought I was organized. And one of the things I learned very quickly is that I wasn't nearly organized enough before the class actually began. Last semester, I was part of the Online Faculty Institute with Kathy Wright and Kai Rush, and I learned a lot more about online course delivery. So this semester, I decided to try to teach my Comms 358 class as a blended course. My approach was to put about 80% of the class materials online. That includes all of my lectures, which are PowerPoints with accompanying audio posted as podcasts. All their quizzes are online. All the supporting material is online. Any film clips they need to watch are available online. And that has given me the opportunity to have more time to engage with the students outside of class time or in the lab, which I feel is the most important part of what I do. Working with the students in a one-on-one situation, helping them work through problems with the software, talking about class material in a personal fashion, I think is much more valuable than standing up in front of the classroom simply delivering the same material which they could watch or listen to on their iPods.
I really enjoy it because it's an individual learning experience. Whereas if I was in class, someone might ask a question, and sometimes I feel like I'm wasting time because I already know that material, and sometimes you feel like you don't have those questions, so why waste your time on that? So if I'm doing this online, what I like is I can watch the lectures or I can take a quiz, and if I don't understand something, I can always come to lab and ask, or I could Google it, I can just jump right onto another tab, Google the problem, and I can figure it out that way. So I like how individual learning experience it really is.
One of the biggest differences for me is that I've shifted the burden of learning, I feel, to them. Now I'm forcing them to internalize that discipline, and I feel that that's a very positive experience for students as they grow into adulthood.
I liked the parts of the blended course combined because it allows you to take from it what you want to take from it, because it's up to you to get quiz stuff done if you want to. It's up to you to put time into the movies if you want to. So you get out whatever you put into the class.
When you teach online, you have to organize all of your materials months in advance, and you have to be very well organized. And for many of us, and myself included, this is a challenge. So preparing those materials in advance and organizing them and parceling them out the way that the student needs to really learn them is a far better way for me to communicate as a teacher.
I really like the blended class because it just really lets you learn all the hands-on stuff, and since it's a production class, I think that should be the priority. The whole podcast thing instead of lecture really lets me learn when I want to learn, when I'm in the mood to learn, when I have time, as opposed to being forced to go to lecture and spacing out half the time, and then I have to review it all. So, and with the podcast you can review stuff, you can go back and review stuff that you didn't understand maybe the first time. So I really like it.
One of the things I really like about teaching online is that it forces me to engage with the students on a personal level. Otherwise, I feel like I walk out of the classroom and I've done my part. I don't need to see them again. But this way, I feel a responsibility to meet with them outside of class, or to respond to their emails immediately, or to log into the discussion board and make sure that I'm contacting them. So while it frees up my lecture time as well, it distributes that time for engagement in other ways. And I think that's very rewarding for both of us.
The blended course has really been a good experience for me. I really like how it has helped with time management. That way I can always go back and listen to the lectures online, and I can just revisit the topics that we talked about. And also, just because it's a production class, I think that it's good to have the extra time that would otherwise be spent in class, using that for production. And I think that really helps overall, and I think it's a great idea.
I meet with the students 3 times throughout the semester where I critique their work in the class. And so that is at least 3 days for each project, or maybe 4 days for each project. So it's actually quite a bit of time. I want to say 30% of the class. We actually meet as a group as we critique their work. I see the students at least twice a week because they come into lab and I come into lab as well. And I will walk around and ask each group, how are things going? what do they need? How can I help them? I speak informally with them about various issues that have just come up in the classroom, or even issues that have come up in the media. Sometimes we'll talk about the Academy Awards. So there's a variety of things that we'll talk about. It gives me a chance to get to know them personally, and I do find that very rewarding. I think teaching an online course has been a really good experience for me and for the students, and I would highly recommend that people try it. It may not be for every faculty member, but for those of us who feel we can tackle the technology, for those of us who want to be organized in advance and who want to attempt it, who would like to try it, I think it's a very rewarding experience. I would say to get some help, maybe contact faculty development or work with Kai Rush or Kathy Wright in their office and get some assistance for how to organize course materials, how to set up test pools, how to do all of those things that you need to do to make yourself prepared so that you'll feel confident. And then I would say, expect the unexpected. It won't be what you think it will be. It will be something else, but I guarantee it'll be rewarding.